Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Luann Bynum, and I'm the interim superintendent president at Long Beach City College. These past few weeks have been unprecedented in the history of our college. It's been new, it's been challenging for our professional lives as well as our personal lives. That's why I'm so thankful that you took time today to join us for this virtual town hall meeting. We have 4 of our vice presidents here. They will be participating in today's discussion, sharing some information that I know you all have questions about. And I hope we can answer them. If not, we will have a process at the end to share with you how you can get answers to all the questions that didn't get covered today. But first, I would like to introduce our Long Beach Community College District Board of Trustee President, Vivian Malaulu. Ms. President Malaulu is the first elected Latina in Long Beach to the Community College District Board. She covers Area 2, which is the west side of Long Beach, and central parts of the city. She spent more than 20 years teaching in journalism, including her time as a part-time teacher here at Long Beach City College. Please join me in welcoming President Malaulu.
Thank you very much, Interim Superintendent President Luann Bynum, and once again, welcome. I know that you've had several weeks with us already, and we're very grateful that you're here and very grateful for your leadership. I'd also like to thank the rest of the Vice President, Dr. Kathy Scott, Dr. Mike Munoz, Marlene Drinkwine, Jean Durand. What a fantastic team that we have here at Long Beach City College. I would also like to acknowledge our tech team that is making this town hall possible behind the scenes. This is a joint effort by our technology department, our communications team. We've got such a great hardworking group of people at the college. For those of you tuning in, whether you are on campus, at home, wherever you are able to log in, welcome to our town hall. This project has been in the works for some time. Long Beach City College has done a lot to support the community in this COVID pandemic. And it's high time that we acknowledge some of the work that's being done and that we highlight the services that are available both to our students, our employees, and also to the community. So this is the purpose for that. Even though we are working apart, so to speak, even though we are socially distant from each other, in essence, we are still working together. And very proud to acknowledge the work that the faculty has done. Our faculty has transitioned their classes. More than 1,000 classes are now being taught online. Very grateful for the hard work of our classified and facilities team, who not only have assisted the faculty and the students to transition with the technology necessary, but they've also been on campus deep cleaning our buildings. All of our buildings, all of our facilities have received some very intense cleaning in the last few weeks. And also I'd like to acknowledge our students for their ability to adapt and their ability to be flexible, to connect remotely, and to still keep in touch with our campus community. I'm very proud of Long Beach City College because the city of Long Beach has entrusted us to be a source of assistance to our community. We've been able to establish a rapid assessment clinic at the Pacific Coast campus, which happens to be in my trustee area. And that is a huge resource to the community. And I'm very grateful for the mayor and the other city officials who have entrusted Long Beach City College to be able to provide this support to our city. And you'll be hearing a lot more about that during this town hall. Now, while our effort obviously is safety first and to make sure that we keep our community as healthy as possible, it is also our priority to make sure that the college continues to function and continues to operate, and most importantly, that we still thrive in doing so. Like many of the students throughout the country, our students have been absolutely devastated. Some of our students have lost their sources of income, they've lost their jobs. There's a lot of insecurity in terms of their housing and their food, childcare, and for that, we are asking for the public's help. Anybody who's watching right now, I'd like to ask that you please consider helping our students. The Long Beach City College Foundation has established a student emergency fund. This will support requests for childcare, housing, food, transportation, technology, and wellness needs. There's a link that will allow you to donate directly on our website. This is for an emergency fund strictly to support our students who are experiencing insecurities through COVID. Please visit our website, lbcc.edu, and not only to donate, but also to find out more. We've got over 45 pages of documents of some of the work that we've done. And again, you'll be hearing about that shortly. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the information that our outstanding group of administrators have prepared for you. And I hope that you and your families are all healthy and safe during this time. Thank you.
Thank you, President Malauulu, and thank you and the Board of Trustees for your incredible leadership. There are a few things before I turn it over to the Vice President that I want to share with you. I know that there's some questions about a couple of these very key things. I'm so proud to be here with this Viking family. I served at Long Beach City College for 20 years and truly feel like I'm back home. The faculty and staff have been unbelievably creative, innovative, problem solving during these times, and it makes us also very proud. I've heard many stories about our students who are looking out for each other and taking care of each other. There's expressions of kindness, selflessness, goodwill to everyone. I know that we miss each other. We miss seeing our students on campus, and we miss seeing our teachers here as well. But there are questions that I'm sure you all have, and one of these is probably the most important to you is when will you be able to come back to campus? We had initially planned for our staff to come back on June 8th and our students to come back on June 10th. But as you know, this is a very fluid situation because of the coronavirus. If you've been keeping up with the news, I'm sure that you know that this pandemic is causing lots of uncertainty and changes almost day to day. We learn more about the virus each day. We learn more about cases in California each day. We are driven by directives from the federal government, the state government, our local government, and here in Long Beach also our local health department. Our biggest concern is the safety of our students, faculty, and staff, and the campus community. So that's something that is driving every decision that we make. But we also have to be ready for a new return date. You can be sure we are working on this as we move forward, and we will keep you very closely informed about that as soon as we have more information. I also want to take a moment to talk about commencement, which is very near and dear to all of our hearts. After much discussion and consideration, the Long Beach City College 2020 commencement in person is postponed. For the health and safety of our students, their families, our faculty and staff, we had to make some very difficult choices about that. I know that's really hard for our students to hear, and it's heartbreaking as well for us at the college and our faculty. We know how important in-person commencement is to their families and to our whole community. After all, it's probably the most important ceremony that we have to be able to celebrate you all as you continue on your career path. But due to the COVID-19, other community colleges are doing the same or are moving to virtual commencement. We do have options for our students, though, that would like to participate in a virtual commencement. Commencement was scheduled for June 4th. We will be holding a virtual commencement June 4th. And then for those students who also want to have an in-person commencement, we will be inviting you all back to our commencement next year to participate. We hope that you take advantage of this too, because we want to really be able to congratulate you in person for this momentous occasion. In addition, this year's summer class is going to be an online formula for the summer. We hope to be able to bring some of our students back. We'll be talking a little bit more in this presentation about what we're planning for the fall. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is turn it over to the vice presidents so each one of them can give you an update about their areas of really key, crucial things. So at this point, I will turn it over to Dr. Kathy Scott.
Thank you, President Bynum. Yes, my name is Dr. Kathy Scott, and I'm the Executive Vice President of Academic Affairs. And this area includes, if you're not completely familiar with it, but our 5 academic schools, our tutoring and success centers, our libraries, our online learning and educational department that helps students and faculty with questions right now, our workforce area, helping students prepare for careers, academic services that coordinates our student schedules, and our child development centers. And all of these areas also include, of course, our amazing faculty, classified staff, deans, and other administrators. Let me echo what President Bynum said when she said that people miss the students. That is what I'm hearing more than anything, is how much faculty and classified staff who had been in face-to-face classes and services feel about not seeing their students on a regular basis. It may be actually the most difficult thing of all. I also need to really commend the faculty for the enormous task of moving hundreds and hundreds of full-time or of face-to-face sections to remote instruction. Hundreds of faculty have also gone through training sessions, multiple training sessions. They've collaborated, worked as teams, mentored within their various departments. They've had to rethink how to teach in this environment, how to organize their classes, how to engage with students, including students with disabilities, how to teach via Confer Zoom, Canvas, and they had to learn all this and do all this in record time. And like our students, many of our faculty had not used Canvas previously, and most had probably not used Confer Zoom. So everybody has been on a very sharp learning curve, but they've done a fabulous job. I've heard stories from both faculty and students about how they have learned and done more in this remote world than they ever thought they could do. So in spite of the very challenging situations most everybody has at home. So we're in awe of our faculty and our students who have done so much to continue instruction remotely. Every employee and student has their own story, their own challenges, but it's been amazing to hear the accomplishments and what people have been able to overcome. I also need to just say a special word to our classified staff who work in all those areas I mentioned. They have gone above and beyond, late hours to support everybody, and we are just extremely grateful. I also want to take a moment to reassure the campus of how closely the various leadership groups within the academic area have been working together and with administration. The Academic Senate and its great leadership, the Faculty Association, CHI, the department heads, the members of our COVID-19 instructional group, all of whom have helped the institution and our faculty tremendously over the last few weeks. Various groups of us meet multiple times a week in all these Zoom meetings, trying to provide the best possible input so that we can make the best possible decisions as we go forward. If there was ever a time for effective shared governance, this is it. Another area that has had to go above and beyond are those involved with the hard to transition courses. These are the ones that could not be moved remotely very easily. The arts, the science labs, trades, health sciences, CTE areas. Many have suspended classes, but many have continued on in extremely creative ways to ensure that videos are captioned for our students, and they've done a tremendous amount of work in these areas, and a special thank you to them. I'll be answering questions specifically about the trades and health sciences classes in the Q&A period, so I won't cover it here. But there are four just areas I want to cover very briefly. Again, I'll echo some of what President Bynum said. For summer, all of our offerings are online, and they fall into three categories. One is asynchronous, meaning these are regular online classes where students do their coursework on their schedule, but meet instructors' deadlines. And I know that many of our instructors are being extremely flexible right now, understanding the hardships our students are facing. The second option is synchronous. This is real-time instruction, usually using Confer Zoom in classes like public speaking. These are very limited in number, but they do exist. And the third category is a combination of asynchronous and synchronous. And this is mostly for some of the science labs that have been very difficult to transition. So be some face-to-face, not face-to-face, but some working on your own and some working in real time using Confer Zoom. We are also working collaboratively with student services to ensure that students understand these options. For number two, for fall, we are engaged in discussions and planning about fall, as President Bynum said. More information will be forthcoming after we have had some of these sessions, but fall could potentially include a greater percentage of online classes. It could potentially be mostly online. We might have some face-to-face instruction in classes, and particularly in those that are very difficult to transition, such as our lab classes. Decisions will be made in conjunction with the appropriate authorities, the health officials, And those decisions will be communicated, after which we will start planning to make sure that we are able to execute this as smoothly as possible. The next one, number 3, is training. And this is for faculty. A large number of faculty use spring break to work on their online teaching certification, for which we are extremely grateful. This training is designed to help faculty feel more comfortable with online instruction and more confident. And it's also designed to create a higher level quality experience for our students. So for those reasons, it's really, really critical that faculty continue to engage in this training. We are also required to provide the Chancellor's Office with our plan for, number 1, getting our courses approved for online instruction. That's a curriculum process. And 2, ensuring that our faculty are trained for online instruction. These have to be submitted to the Chancellor's Office, like I said, one set of documents for summer and one for fall. We also have numerous training sessions being made available. Some of these are from USC's Center for Urban Education. We also have one from the Chancellor's Office on regular and effective contact. And that's particularly important, again, in these online classes where communication needs to happen between the student and the faculty and the student, but also among students. And we continue to update our faculty page on the COVID-19 website, highlighting what is new for faculty. And finally, just a word about tutoring. We offer free online academic support options for students currently enrolled at our college. We use Confer Zoom or Skype, and students can receive tutoring support for a variety of subjects. And they can access these tutoring sessions from anywhere with a reliable internet connection. So in closing, and before I turn this over to the next Vice President, I just want to emphasize the importance of continuing to communicate. This is faculty with their students, reaching out to them, our students with their faculty members if they're having issues that are impacting their classwork, and between the faculty and their department heads and deans. All of these levels of communication are tremendously important. So thank you for allowing me to address you. And now it's my pleasure to turn this over to Dr. Mike Munoz, our Vice President of Student Services.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Mike Munoz, and I have the great privilege of serving as the Vice President of Student Services. Student Services area includes the following programs and services and departments. We include admissions and records, financial aid, counseling, support programs such as EOPS, DSPS, CalWORKS, CARE, Next Up, Justice Scholars, Guardian Scholars. We include Student Equity Office, as well as Student Affairs and Student Life, which includes the Associated Student Body, Athletics, Health Services, Welcome Center, and High School and Outreach and Matriculation. I just want to start off by also extending and sharing how extremely Viking proud I am of the amazing Student Services team. The Student Service team has worked extremely hard to be responsive and to really be creative and solve problems as we've transitioned to remote instruction and continuing to support our students. So again, I just want to extend my appreciation to all the counselors and staff and administrators within Student Services for the creative thinking and problem solving and hard work. So I'm going to share a little bit and highlight some of the key things that we've been doing to support students as we've transitioned into remote instruction during this period of COVID-19. So first, I'll start off with our Viking Vault. It was very important early on as we started transitioning to remote instruction that we continued some of our core services for our most vulnerable students. And we recognized that the Viking Vault was one of those key services that we must continue. So I'm very excited to share with all of you that we have continued services of the Viking Vault at LAC and PCC. On March 24th, March 31st, and April 7th, we distributed a total of 1,040 grocery bags across those 3 dates. And we did it in a way that kept students, that prioritized students, as well as the employees' health and safety. We were allowing students to drive through on the campus to pick up their bags that were pre-bagged and really did it in a way that minimized contact, right? And so we were very proud of that accomplishment because we really thought it was important, like I said, to ensure that our students who really have come to depend on the Viking Vault for nutrition and support, that we continued that. So again, I want to extend my appreciation to the Student Affairs team. A couple updates about the Viking Vault, because we are going to make some changes as we continue to move forward through this fluid environment. Beginning April 28th, we will begin another disbursement of our Viking Vault Grab and Go grocery bags, but we're going to be doing it on a every other week basis. And we felt that it was important that we would still provide the same amount of food, but instead of expecting students to come on a weekly basis to us, we would then provide 2 weeks worth of groceries in one trip. So again, on April 28th, students would be able to come both to PCC and LAC and pick up 2 bags of groceries, not just one. And again, this is in order to minimize the physical contact between our students and our staff. So again, kudos to Student Affairs with their creative thinking, problem solving. And again, thank you for our partnership with facilities as well and providing support for the Viking Vault. The next key area I want to provide you an update on is our Chromebook distribution. Since we have moved to remote instruction, we recognize the importance of providing students who might be struggling with access to technology supports. And so we increased the number of laptops. At the start of the semester, we had 50 laptops that we were providing to students through our Student Equity Laptop Loan Program. We quickly ramped those numbers up to 250. So we ordered 250 additional laptops. And now we actually are awaiting the order of 500 additional laptops that will be available starting next week. So for all the students out there or faculty that might have students in your courses that might be struggling with some of the technology barriers, because we recognize that, hey, if you're in a family and there's 1 laptop and 4 students in that household trying to access that laptop at the same time, that creates a barrier, right? And so we want to remove barriers for our students. And so I encourage you to visit the COVID-19 student website and click on the emergency aid application that's listed at the bottom, and you can apply for a laptop. We will be distributing laptops over the next 2 weeks, and we have, like I said, an additional 500 laptops to share with students. Also, we have Dell laptops, apart from the Chromebooks, that are made available for students who might have certain software needs depending upon their course they're enrolled in. So again, if that is you, please go ahead and follow up with the application and apply for the laptop loan program and have your needs assessed. As far as emergency aid as well, we recognize the importance that so many of our students are experiencing a loss of income, or their families are experiencing a loss of income as a result of COVID-19. And so we've worked really creatively and rapidly to be able to put COVID-19 CARE Act funds in the hands of our students. So through our emergency aid application, we received over 1,600 applications from students. And just a quick breakdown, we had about 1,500 students requesting direct emergency aid grants. And these direct emergency aid grants can be used to help pay housing costs, childcare costs, help with food, utilities. So really it's intended to put direct aid in the hands of students. And as such, I'm very excited to share with you that as of yesterday, we distributed over $500,000 in an emergency grant aid to over 1,100 students. And how we were able to do that is leveraging what's called the CARE Act. And so Congress passed the CARE Act, and I'm sure Vice President Drinkwine might provide more information in her remarks, but to just give you some high-level information about the CARE Act, we as Long Beach City College are receiving $7 million to provide in direct student aid. And so we're using these funds to make sure that we support our students who are struggling financially to stay enrolled in college. And so we will be continuing to issue more emergency student aid as students continue to apply, and as well as not just in this term, but we're looking towards summer and supports for summer as well as for fall. So more information will come regarding the emergency aid. Also with the student emergency aid application, in addition to those emergency aid grants, students can request support for food either through our Viking Vault or through our grocery card program where we're supporting students with gift cards to local grocery stores. They can request support for Chromebooks. They can request support for bus passes. And so we are providing, we just provided 146 students with bus passes for Long Beach Transit during this period of COVID-19, as well as many of our students are struggling with mental health issues. This has taken a toll on all of us. And the social isolation, the transitions to online. So many of our students are experiencing a range of feelings, right? And they may need to be able to speak with a professional. And so students can also self-identify through the emergency student aid application to receive support from one of our mental health clinicians. So with that said, overall, Long Beach City College is deeply committed to supporting our students who are vulnerable right now to everything that is happening with COVID-19. And so I encourage any student who might be experiencing some challenges or may need additional support to complete that emergency aid application. Also, another key area I want to provide as an update is in our area of counseling. I strongly encourage any student to meet with one of our academic counselors here at Long Beach City College, especially as we start to approach the period for registration. Registration for fall is going to begin towards the end of the month. And so if you haven't checked in with a counselor yet and you haven't been able to update your educational plan, I encourage you to do so. And you can do so through an online virtual appointment. So you'll be able to meet directly with a counselor, update your educational plan, and have any of your personalized questions answered by one of our outstanding counselors. So if you haven't, I encourage you to make an appointment and get your educational plan updated. And then kind of just in closing, the final area that I want to provide you an update with is in admissions and records. We receive numerous emails from students wanting clarification about what does it mean to get an excused withdrawal? What does it mean to get a W? What is going on with pass, no pass? And so I'm going to provide you just some high level information about excused withdrawals and pass, no pass, as well as course repeatability and how it affects you. So currently, students may withdraw from any course at LBCC up until May 27th and receive an excused withdrawal. And so that's something that our faculty and our academic senate has supported, and we've worked with Dr. Scott in academic affairs to be able to have that option available for students. Students may also have their course grading option changed to pass nor pass until May 27th as well. So May 27th is a very important date for students because it's an important date for excused withdrawal and it's an important date for pass no pass. Students may also use existing excused withdrawal processes after spring semester to address issues where their grades for grades that were earned in spring 2020. So what does that mean? What that means is, let's say you get a D or you get an F in spring of 2020. There is a process in which you may petition for an excused withdrawal. It's not automatic. It's not like the process that we have up until May 27th. You would have to petition and work with a counselor, and that committee would review your petition and determine whether or not to approve the excused withdrawal. More information on that will soon follow as well. Instructors may withdraw a student from their course until May 27th through their grade roster, and the students will earn an excused withdrawal. So again, the excused withdrawal is a very important option for our students because what that does is the excused withdrawal does not count against financial aid or your satisfactory and academic progress. So it provides students relief in that way. And that's the key difference between an excused withdrawal and a withdrawal. So again, important date, May 27th, for excused withdrawals, as well as for pass, no pass option changes. And so just keep that date in mind. But again, when in doubt, schedule an appointment with a counselor and meet with one of our counselors, and they will review your situation and provide you with the best option. Also, the other questions that we have received is courses taken in spring 2020 will not count towards the number of attempts allowed for a course. So this is what we call course repeatability. So a student can attempt a course 3 times and petition to take it a 4th time, but spring 2020 will not count towards that calculation. So if you're worried about having to repeat a course from this, repeating a course from this semester, don't worry, it's not going to count towards those calculations for course repeatability. And then just in terms of upcoming communications, April 20th, students will start to receive a reminder about enrolling for summer 2020, which starts on April 27th. And on April 27th, students will receive an email informing them to check their Viking portal for their fall 2020 registration date, which starts May 11th. So again, please stay connected with us. Continue to check your emails. Continue to check our COVID-19 student website. And again, if you need any support, please feel free to reach out and make an appointment with a counselor. We are extremely proud of you, Vikings. We know our students are working incredibly hard right now in this time, and we are here to support you. So thank you. And with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Vice President Marlene Drinkline.
Thank you so much. As Dr. Munoz mentioned, my name is Marlene Drinkline, and I am the Vice President of non-academic, Administrative and Business Services. I'd like to first recognize the incredible efforts put forth by the teams in my area, and that includes fiscal services, business support services, which does procurement, campus safety, risk management, information technology, facilities, and economic development. They have all been instrumental in implementing our business continuity plan that ensures that all business processes continue during this COVID-19 crisis. This means that despite most personnel working remotely, business continues. Our support of students, faculty, and staff continues. Payroll is processed on schedule, invoices are paid, purchases are made, goods are received, campuses are secured and safe, Facilities and grounds are maintained, our networks are fully supported, help desks are manned, and expanded services are provided to small businesses within our community. We've done this by shifting many processes to a paper-free process as much as possible and identifying essential personnel to perform on-site functions. That process takes place over 2 steps. First, we identify the critical functions that cannot be performed remotely. Some of these include printing payroll and other checks, receiving and distributing mail, receiving goods, issuing equipment, custodial and ground services, supporting our network services, servers, and facilities maintenance, as well as supporting the critical functions by academic affairs, through student services and human resources. The minimum number of persons with the expertise to perform those on-site critical functions are then identified as essential personnel. We ensure that the presence of these personnel on-site are staggered to minimize the number of persons in any one area at any one time. And we limit their presence to just a few buildings so that we can sterilize and sanitize unoccupied buildings and limit the security necessary for those buildings. Basically, if a function can be performed remotely, then it is being performed remotely. And talking about the cleaning and sanitation of our buildings, we have an incredible custodial team, and we've established both a sanitation crew that is deep cleaning and sanitizing all buildings following updated protocols released by the CDC, as well as a crew that services occupied buildings. All custodians are provided with training and PPE, that's personal protection equipment, including masks and gloves as part of our standard protocol. But we've also augmented that training to include the updated guidance from public health officials, and are adding a training supervisor to our team to ensure that all custodians are continually trained in safety and cleaning methods. Ensuring the safety of our personnel is our highest priority. I am also very proud to share that we are continuing to serve our community needs through a partnership with the City of Long Beach to provide facilities to support their COVID-19 related operations. So far, this has included the use of our parking lots at our Pacific Coast campus for their rapid assessment clinic. Information regarding accessing those services may be found at the city's COVID-19 website. I should note that our crews do not service areas occupied by the city for medical activities. Those area services, including cleaning and waste management, are arranged by the city. I am also very proud to share that we will be providing facilities to house fire department personnel, as well as other activities that the city identifies as they continue to respond to the evolving situation. Lastly, I want to share that I will be presenting to the Board of Trustees at their meeting next week on April 22nd, the budgetary impact of COVID-19. I will be going into depth about the CARES Act revenues, which for our district will total about $14 million, with $7 million going to providing direct aid, as Dr. Munoz mentioned, to students, as well as replacing lost revenues and allowing us to purchase additional equipment and take extraordinary measures to support our activities during this crisis. I will also be addressing potential FEMA reimbursements, the state of the economy, and other issues that will affect both our revenues and expenditures in the upcoming year. I hope you can join us then. Now, I'd like to hand it off to Jean Duran, our Vice President of Human Resources.
Do it that way, sorry. Hello, my name is Jean Durand. I'm the Vice President of Human Resources, and that also includes labor relations. One of the first things we engaged with to make sure that we were honoring the bargaining unit contracts is a memorandum of understanding with all of our bargaining units related to our transition to being remote. We wanted to make sure that we were meeting and conferring with everybody. And our number one goal was to ensure that we were protecting the employment of those who work here at the district. I'm humbled and appreciative that the tenor of those conversations was very collaborative. It was very focused on solving problems, and that's due to the level of trust that we have with our bargaining units here at the district. In addition, we did put hiring on pause, and the reason for that was twofold. One of the most important one initially was to protect everyone, not only the human resource staff, but to make sure we were protecting those candidates who may be coming on campus as we transitioned and we're better understanding the COVID pandemic. In addition, to make sure that we were protecting individuals at the district who may be involved in the hiring process. Hiring has come back a tiny little bit. We're working and we actually have a remote process for that, so we may be able to open that up as we need to. In addition, I want to thank the exceptional human resource team who, through all the transition, through all the change, has never skipped a beat in their level of service to the district and to the community. An important thing to understand is we already had processes in place to digitize the majority of what we did in human resources so that it could be done remotely. That supported us greatly. And in addition, we also have worked really, really hard to ensure that there is a good level of communication and a process so that information flows really well and that the team is supported through this remote working conditions. The other thing too I want to share is for those employees who do have benefits, there is an employee assistance program. Information can be found on the benefits webpage, and that EAP gives resources with mental health, elder care, legal, and other resources. In addition, on the COVID page for those people transitioning to remote are some best practices, tips and tricks on how to work remote, how best to work remote, keep yourself engaged. And the other thing for those individuals who may be feeling a little bit of the stress and strain of working remote, I would just encourage you to take some time for yourself. I know it may sound a little bit strange, but maybe this is a time to take a vacation day and do something for yourself, be it a hobby, something else that you wanted to pick up, connecting with individuals who maybe you've lost contact with. It might be a good time to take a vacation day. The other thing too is I want to make sure that I really want to recognize and I want to compliment the resiliency and the commitment to serving our students and serving our community that has been shown by all of our employees and all of our employee constituency groups. I think it's really important to remember that there is not one single one of us that would be effective or that would be successful without the support and service of all of us. There is no one, all of our employee groups are equally valuable, and there is no one employee group that would be successful without being dependent on every other employee group and all the other services of the college. And I think our efforts here are a real striking example of just that. So in closing, I just want to share that I'm incredibly grateful to have the opportunity to serve and support each and every one of you. And on that, I'll turn it back over to our Superintendent President, Luann Bynum.
Thank you, Jean, and thank you to all of the vice presidents. You all have been able to see how remarkable they are in the heavy load that they are carrying as well, working with all of you and working with our students. And I'm very proud to serve with each one of you. You just must know that. Let's turn to questions. We received about 80 questions today, and we're not going to have time to answer them all. Some of them were very specific to individuals, and so we'll get back to those individuals specifically. Others were common in some ways. The questions that we can't get to today, we will put on the COVID website, and that'll be appearing in the next couple of days. So please go there and answer those questions or take a look at the answers to those questions. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And I think what I'll do is I'll just toss certain questions to each of the vice presidents. And Dr. Scott, I'm going to start with you. One question came in that said, for those students who have clinical internships at hospitals for radiology and nursing, when are we allowed to go back to normal clinical hours?
Okay, thank you, President Bynum. Yeah, that's been a big concern for the Chancellor's office as well as for our own institution. Currently, the clinical facilities where we send our students have not allowed us to return for any of our programs, whether that's the nursing degree, vocational, the RN program, the vocational nursing program, radiology, medical assisting, CNA program, or EMT program. We're in the same situation with all of them. We are monitoring the situation and communicating with them, and we will return as soon as it's safe for the patients, for our students, and for our faculty who teach in those disciplines. I did want to give a little bit of information specific to particular programs. For the RN program, the Board of Registered Nursing has required previously 75% of the clinical hours to be direct patient care, and 25% could be simulation lab. They have changed that to allow 50% of direct patient care, 50% direct patient care, and 50% simulation. But what is a new innovation here is they've been allowing telehealth for some of the direct patient care, which will allow our students to be able to finish in a little easier of a manner. Our faculty have embraced the telehealth option. They've used it before, and they're looking to include it in our programs going forward. For the VN program, the vocational nursing, their Board of Vocational Nursing has allowed 100% simulation in lieu of direct patient care during this crisis. And so faculty have quickly transitioned to simulation, and they're using a product called vSim, which they really think is quite excellent, and students will be able to return to campus at some point when it's safe and finish those final competencies. And radiology, the state has similarly relaxed the clinical hour requirement, and our fourth semester students will be able to graduate on time as they have already met the requirement. When we can, we'll return to campus and finish their final competencies also. Thank you, President Bynum.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Let me turn this one over to Dr. Munoz. Are any orientation workshops, online or in person, planned ahead of the beginning of the college semester to inform students what the college will be doing?
Thank you, President Bynum. So yes, Student Services will be holding some specialized orientations for students on two parts. One, to support the registration process, so you can expect some invitations to go out where students can Zoom in shortly before the start of the registration process to get support with registering for their courses, as well as throughout the summer, we will continue to offer Zoom in orientations so that students can ask their direct questions to counselors and financial aid experts and different staff. So those dates will be soon to follow.
Thank you. Let me follow up again with you, Dr. Munoz. What steps is LBCC taking in regards to the Student Relief Fund? I applied within hours of the announcement via email being made and have yet to hear back.
Okay. So one of the steps that we've taken place, is, like I said, we created our own homegrown student emergency aid application. So we did send out an application for student aid that was promoted by the Chancellor's office. And unfortunately, many students were directed to that website. And not just from Long Beach City College, but from across the state, that website was a little overwhelmed, and they closed within, I think, an hour of opening that website. They hit their capacity for applications. And so in part, our response was to provide students with direct student aid and emergency support here at Long Beach City College with our own homegrown application. And so again, my recommendation is any student out there that is struggling with unmet needs to complete our emergency aid application that can be accessed via the COVID-19 student website. And we have been turning around those applications within a week's span. So about 7 days is our business workflow to turn around communications with students. And so we have sent out communications to all students that have applied for our Long Beach City College Emergency Student Aid application. And as I mentioned, we dispersed close to $600,000 yesterday to over 1,100 students.
Thank you. Vice President Drinkwine, let's toss this one to you. Are all employees and supervisors required to wear face masks during the entire work shift?
Thank you, President Bynum. Recent orders by both the County of LA and the City of Long Beach do now require all persons to wear face masks while inside essential businesses. This includes employees as well as clients or customers, meaning our students. So what this means is that all persons on campus for those essential functions do need to wear masks. They may be cloth masks, but they do need to wear masks while on campus. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's see, Vice President Duran, any idea when Human Resources will be able to resume normal part-time faculty pool interviews?
Sure. So as I mentioned in some of my remarks, we do have a process in place to do remote interviewing using systems similar to what we're on today, Zoom or otherwise. Fortunately, our applicant tracking system is all online. Our onboarding is all online currently, and so we can do that all remotely, so that helps us when we get to that point. But yes, we do have some conversations out with the deans and department heads to understand what their needs may be in fall as they look to the schedule, and we'll be supporting them remotely and online.
Great, thank you. Since there's so many questions that have come in about student services, let me turn to you again, Dr. Munoz. Can students who pay class material fees for classes and no longer have access to it since the campus shut down use the Student Emergency Fund to purchase these materials?
So yes, President Bynum. We actually encourage students who may need to have some additional funds to support course materials for classes that they were previously accessing course materials here on campus. We encourage them to apply to the Emergency Student Aid application, as well as I'll be working with Dr. Scott in the coming weeks to develop maybe a direct student aid program for those courses specifically designated with course materials that might be hard for students to access from outside the campus. So more information on that will follow as well.
Great. And let me ask this as a follow-up. What about students who are in their last semester of financial aid or the GI Bill or Chapter 35? Will that be extended?
Excellent question. Thank you, President Bynum. So as part of the CARES Act, we are actually this semester, this particular term, so spring 2020 will not be counted in the calculations for those financial aid standards. So this term will not count against students whether it's for financial aid. So they don't have to worry about this term. So if it extends into the fall, students should be okay.
That's great. Thank you for that. And Dr. Scott, this semester I have taken all trades classes at PCC, construction and auto, 19 units total. Truly, the only way to learn these trades is hands-on. Is there a possibility these classes can resume next semester?
Okay, thank you. That's a good question. We currently have about 80 classes that are in a suspended mode. They are mostly CTE, career tech, or in the health sciences. And the reason they're suspended, we did not want to cancel them because we are truly, truly hoping that there is a chance that we can come back prior to fall and help students finish those classes with just the hours they need to finish. And the reason they're suspended and are not being remote the way that so many other classes are is primarily safety. And some of the classes in the trades, welding, metal fab, electrical, advanced transportation with our electric vehicles, with high voltage equipment, students need to have that hands-on instruction, as the person who asked the question said. We do not feel comfortable allowing students to finish those classes without the hands-on training because it's not safe for them if they go out in the workplace without those skills. And we also owe it to our employers to ensure that the students that we send with our certificates have completed courses with the required hands-on training. So we are hoping that there's a chance we can come back before fall. And this also involves some of the child development classes, some of the fashion classes where students don't have sewing machines, that kind of thing. We will continue to be guided by the state, by public health agencies, our chancellor's office to see when we can come back. And we will have to, if we do so, it'll have to be in a social distancing manner. But we have been granted authority by the chancellor's office to extend the time allowed for students to finish spring classes all the way up until the start of fall. So if we can come back in June at some point in a social distancing manner to help those students finish, great. If it's July, great. If it's August, that's not as ideal as earlier, but we'll take it. So that's what we're hoping, so that students can then take new classes in the fall and not just be trying to finish the ones that they didn't finish in spring. And as all of you know, the trades were back, and the trades will be back again. We are certain of it. Thank you.
Thank you. And yes, the trades will be back again. Let's see, Dr. Munoz, for students who already submitted an application for transfer certificates and degrees, will it still be granted if their required courses are suspended, canceled, or have received an incomplete grade?
Okay. So there's a lot. Thank you, President Bynum. There's a lot to that question, and so I'm
Yes,
going to.
I realize.
Some of those parts of those questions might be better answered by Dr. Scott, but I think what I'd like to do is respond specifically to the transfer piece, because I know that's a part that many students are asking questions on. And then the other pieces, because they are somewhat situational, we can provide a written response to that question with our Q&A responses that we're going to be posting, if that's okay. So as far as transfer goes, the CSU and the UCs have provided some communications and directions to the college in terms of how they're going to be handling and responding to how it's going to be impacting admissions, I should say, for fall 2020. So in regards to pass and no pass, the CSU is going to accept pass no pass courses, as well as not just for the historical courses that they have accepted pass no pass for, but as well as for the Golden Four, which is English language, oral communication, critical thinking, and math and quantitative reasoning. They will continue also accept pass no pass for general education courses, as well as major prerequisite courses. The UCs is a little different, right? The University of California, they have what they have done is they have temporarily suspended its cap of 14 units on pass no pass. As pass no pass pertains to major prep, this is going to be on a case-by-case basis, and so students will need to check with each UC campus. So what we're highly recommending is before any student makes a decision about how pass no pass may benefit or not benefit them, they take the opportunity to meet with one of our counselors, sit down, and review that information. Now, regarding exceptions to 60 transferable units and admissions and minimum admissions requirements to the UC and CSU, the CSU will clear admissions for upper division transfer applicants with 48 semester transferable units who have completed English language as well as math quantitative reasoning by the start of fall 2020. And this includes courses taken in summer 2020. And again, this is communications that we received from the CSU. The UC, though, however, it really depends because these decisions are made by campus, major by major basis. So again, the message to our students is that if you have questions regarding pass no pass or exceptions to 60 transferable units and how this semester may impact your transfer, we encourage you to make an appointment and meet with a counselor to have your individual case reviewed, and we can get you the best information possible.
That's great. Dr. Munoz, let's get one more quick question in because a lot of students are probably wondering about this. I got an email a while back saying that students who paid for their classes with no financial aid are going to get refunds. Also, that parking passes get a 60% refund. The email said that the process for that is in the works. What is the status of issuing refunds to the students who qualify?
Thank you for the question, President Bynum. So we are in the process of, and we're very close. We have our deadline for tomorrow to have a process in place to begin to start to issue refunds to students. It may sound more complex than it is, but the reality is that there are certain things we had to do on the back end with IT to be able to facilitate the processing of these refunds, especially because we don't typically issue refunds based on excused withdrawals. And so there was some IT pieces that we needed to work on and put in place, but we're very close. So let me kind of summarize where we're at right now. So all students who are not currently receiving financial aid, who withdraw from a course, will receive an excused W. That excused W will trigger a refund. So if you're a non-financial aid student or a student currently not receiving financial aid, you will be issued a refund for not only your course fees, but if you also had material fees at 100%. And so we hope to have that process implemented in about a week to a week and a half from now. So students can expect a communication early next week that will explain the timeline as well as the process for the refund. Students who withdraw from all their courses. So let's say the student says, the semester is just too rough for me. I need to take a step away. Students who withdraw, they will have their course fees as well as their material fees refunded, as well as their health fee and student rep fee. Parking is going to be refunded at a prorated rate of 60%, as well as the associated student body fee will be refunded at a prorated rate of 60%. And so again, students can expect an email early next week outlining the refund process as well as communicating a clear timeline that they can expect their refunds.
Great. Thank you to all of our vice presidents. Really appreciate you providing this information to our students. I want to thank President Malauulu and the entire Board of Trustees for their leadership. I want to thank our incredibly hardworking, dedicated faculty and staff for the amazing job they are doing and they are continuing to do. It's really been remarkable. And most importantly, I want to thank our students for hanging in there with us and continuing on your education. We know it's difficult, but please stay with us, keep going. You're going to graduate someday, and we'll be there to give you a big high Viking 5. We will be hosting a number of virtual town halls specifically for students and for faculty and our community at some point as well. And also, I want to take a moment to let our community know, if there's any members in the community watching this, that this is your college too. You have an opportunity to go online, take some of these incredible classes safely in your own home. And if you just go to our www.lbcc.edu website, you can find information about that. To everyone watching today, please know that this is your college, that we care. We want you to stay healthy, and we want you to hang in there with us. And again, thank you for joining us for this first virtual town hall meeting. We'll see you soon, hopefully in person. Go Vikings.
Go Vikings.